This Halloween, ghoul all out with Instacart. Whether you're hunting for the perfect costume, eyeing that giant bag of candy, or casting spells with eerie decor, we've got it all in one place. Download the Instacart app and get delivery in as fast as 30 minutes. Plus, enjoy $0 delivery fees on your first 3 orders. Offer valid for a limited time, minimum $10 per order, service fees, other fees, and additional terms apply. Instacart, bringing the store to your door this Halloween.
Good evening, sir. And welcome all to Legends of the 70s podcast. Joining me tonight in this episode as we take a trip down memory lane is Swindon Town and Crystal Palace legend and icon, Don Rogers. Don, how are you? It's an absolute
Very
pleasure,
well, thank you.
Pleasure and a privilege, sir. Born on the 25th of October in 1945. Talk to me firstly, before we take the trip down memory lane, about those early years growing up. Paulton, you was born, wasn't you?
Yes, I was brought up in a miner's village.
Okay.
Which people won't believe that. Well, there was a mine where I came from. My dad was a miner.
What area
in the middle
was
of nowhere.
that? So Paulton, what's the nearest place geographically, if we can just place it on the map?
Bristol.
Oh,
Bath and
okay, yeah,
Bristol.
got you.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, that was the nearest places. A very small, well, it wasn't a village I came from. There was only about 25 houses there.
Wow.
So it was the middle of nowhere, really. Plenty of fields to play football in, though.
Was it plenty of kids to play football against, though, Don?
Well, we were all born at the end of the Second World War, so it was 10 or 12 of us, really, spread in about 5 years, I suppose, you know. One would be 10 and one would be 15, but there was about 10 of us we could make up a game.
Going to school in them early years, did you play for your school team? Did you play for the district? What was the setup back in the early 50s?
I played in the school team, yeah. Believe it or not, I used to play centre-half in the school team, which is absolutely unbelievable. And I also played for the district team. The district team, I played left wing, so that was a bit different. So I started playing left wing very early on.
And then from the district, I'm guessing the county, and then football clubs will come looking at those players. What clubs came looking at you?
Well, I played for the county a midweek game, and Bert Head, the Swindon Town manager, then picked my dad up and brought my dad to the game. And he was Swindon Town, of course, manager then. And he brought my dad back, and he had the forms and that in his car. So it was done quite quickly, really. But the irony of it was that an hour later, Fred Ford from Bristol City turned up, but he was too late. I'd already signed.
Because this is it, isn't it? You know, when you get a talent, you get a number of clubs looking at the players. They all go scouting around the county games, and it was the Bristol City guy that unfortunately was an hour late, and Swindon Town had already got your signature. Were you a Swindon fan growing up, Don?
No. No, my actual team I sort of looked for results was Bolton Wanderers, believe it or not.
Why?
I don't know why, I've no idea.
I mean,
I think it's because of Nat Lofthouse at the time. He used to score a lot of goals, didn't he?
Yeah, because back in the day, Bolton were a great team, wasn't they?
Decent team, yes.
Yeah,
that was my team.
The Lion of Vienna was some player as well. Did you want to be a winger, or did you want to be like Nat Lofthouse? And who were your heroes?
Oh, no,
I could never be.
I could never be a Nat Lofthouse. I didn't play anything like him.
Yeah.
I don't know. Nobody influenced me, I don't think. I just played football because I enjoyed it so much. You know, it had nothing to do with anybody else. I just loved it.
Who were your heroes? What football games did you watch? Clearly you was a Bolton fan.
Yeah.
What are the games? Because now we have Match of the Day, we have Sky Sports, etc., etc. It wasn't like that back in them days. How did you access your football?
Well, we didn't have any of it, did we,
No,
really?
Nothing
at all, no. So we didn't access anything, really.
No?
No, there was nothing going. You couldn't watch anything then, so it's just... No, you just went out and played with the boys, that was it.
So your footballing DNA, did it come from your mother or your father?
Oh, my dad, definitely, yeah. My dad was very good locally. Yeah, very good locally.
What position did he play? Was he a
winger
centre
forward.
Oh, okay.
Centre forward. Very good in the air. Good header of a ball, apparently everybody told me. So I must have missed out on that.
But did he take you down the park with a bag of balls and got you crossing for him to whack in them headers and stick your mum in goal?
Well, we every weekend we used to have a game with dads versus lads.
Right, okay.
And you've never seen the place we played in. You wouldn't believe it. There were stones in the ground. It was like hard mud we played on.
Yeah.
You wouldn't believe what it was like. It was all lumps and bumps and everything. But you had about 10 of these aside. There wasn't room for 5 aside, but we had 10 aside. So it did teach you a lot, though. It taught you a lot. This
is the thing these days. The kids haven't got that jeopardy. They haven't got them pitches that have got bobbles, have got stones, they've got, divots in there where the ball will hit it and it'll come off at a different angle. And that's where you learn your trade, isn't it? That's where you learn your control.
Well, I definitely had enough of that in my early days, yeah. So you definitely had got to control the ball. You couldn't play because it just bobbled all over the place.
Now, so you're a youngster and you've gone in there at Swindon Town. What were those early years like for you? What was your first memories of getting involved within a professional game?
Well, my first memories were of going away from home first. I'd never been away from home, hardly been out of where I lived. We didn't used to go anywhere or anything in those days. So going to Swindon as a 15-year-old was massive, absolutely massive. But it wasn't too bad because he used to let me leave on a Friday afternoon, and go home to the Monday when I first got there for the first couple of months. So I've been home pretty. Of course, after 3 or 4 months, I didn't want to go home then because you got to know all the lads and we stayed together.
So was you staying in digs with a few of the boys, Don? Is that how it worked? Yeah.
Yeah, I was in they just bought a house actually right by the ground, and I was the first one in there as an apprentice. First one to move into the house.
Who were some of your other apprentices that you shared the digs with? And was there a landlady like in George?
Yeah,
George
Mrs. Pigeon. Yeah, Mr. and Mrs. Pigeon. Yeah, I had them for a few years. Well, I was there about a year and a half, I suppose.
So was it the usual? You get a young kid, a 15-year-old kid, he's an apprentice. You're cleaning the boots, you're up and down doing all the jobs, etc., etc.
Quite right.
And then they feed you a diet of steak and Guinness, etc., to fill you up and put the weight on you. That's how it used to happen, didn't it, in them days?
We didn't have any of that, no. Fish and chips to be more to the point. But I loved it, actually. I loved all the cleaning the boots and doing the stands and all that. It was great, because there was 12 of us 12 apprentices at that time, so it was great. We had a great time, and we used to go down the cafe in the evening and sit around and have a cup of coffee and have a laugh. It was really good.
And then you got into, was it the youth team that you'd first play and then progress into the reserve team and then the first team? Is that your route?
Well, I had 2 A-teams I started with, actually. We had the Swindon Town A-team, and we had two A-teams. One played in the local league and one played in the Hellenic League.
Yeah.
So I used to say, I used to get kicked one week in the Wilts League, and we used to play football in the Hellenic League. So you grew up learning everything, how to jump. But that's what it was like.
Did you play much reserve football, Don, or did you go into the first team? Yeah.
No, 16 I was in the reserve team, Played in the reserve team at 16, So it was a gradual progression. It was an A-team and youth team together, because youth was always midweek, and the A-team was on a Saturday. So we used to play Wilts Premier League on one Saturday, then we played the Hellenic League the next Saturday. So we were swapped about. So you were learning to play all sorts of stuff, and then we had the youth team during the week.
Now, going and playing reserve team football as a 16-year-old kid, what was that like? And can you remember some of the players that you played against? Because in those days, you would have players coming back from injury, etc., or ones that had been dropped from the first team. It was very competitive, wasn't it, reserve team football? Yeah,
it was, It was hard. But and I don't remember any of the players, to be honest with you, because you weren't too bothered about who's playing in the other team. Actually, you were just pleased to be playing yourself.
Yeah.
It was a step up.
So you got that call up to the first team, your debut. Yeah. What's your memories of your debut? Putting on your boots and just going over that white line for the first time.
It's funny, I don't have much recollection of it at all. It was a surprise. I didn't expect to be playing.
Yeah.
I didn't have any aspirations of playing in the first team at that time, but he gave me a run, and then I stayed in the team until the fella that got injured came back in. So, and it was Gillingham 0, Swindon 1, sorry.
Not your debut, but tonight's
Sorry
game.
about that.
It's all right, Don.
Sorry about that, yeah.
Old habits die hard, don't they?
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
Once a Robin, always a Robin.
That's right, yeah.
So your first team debut. Can you remember then your first goal when you put that shirt on?
It was my first goal, I think. Was it the third? It's the third or fourth game I played, but I can't really remember it, to be honest. I know, because the team were going very well at the time, so that's all that mattered, really. I mean, we got promoted that year anyway. So it was the team were going very well, so I was a bit part of it, really.
So
just starting off.
The senior pros and the players in your first team at Swindon in them early years, talk to me about some of your teammates.
Well, it was John Trollope, of course, who I played with for 10 years after that. So we were together for 10 years. Started with Terry Woolen. There was the two youngest fullbacks in the league at the time, John and Terry Woolen. They started off at 16. Yeah, two 16-year-olds in the first team. Brilliant. Wow. Yeah, not bad.
How old was you, Don, when you made your debut?
Just 17 and 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'd just gone 17. But you had people like Mick Summerby, Ernie Hunt, all very good players, and all come through the youth system. So it's brilliant. I think we had 6 or 7 local players playing at the time in the first team.
Wow.
Which you wouldn't see that now, would you?
I don't think you would, and I don't think that... I don't think players are... I don't know whether they're not allowed to, or whether they don't still buy players, will bring players in like they used to, but up and down the country in those days, every club had a brilliant youth team, and they had a pathway to the first team. I think
quite right.
Maybe with the amount of foreign players in our game these days, it may be a little bit more difficult, but in those days, it was a great pathway. Reserve team football, then first team football.
Well, scouting systems, they're so big now, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. I think they're ridiculous.
You know, in my day, I mean, we had one scout probably in my day.
Yeah.
Who did the local clubs.
Yeah.
So that's why you've got all the local players playing, and of course they get supporters in. Local players get supporters into the club.
Don't they?
We all want to see local players.
Yeah, of course we do. I mean, you will hear he's one of our own. He's one of our own when you're watching the Sky too. And we've always loved one of our own. But as I say, it isn't like it was back in your day. So you're up and running. You're in the first team. You're scoring goals. You're causing absolute havoc on that left wing. What was your most luckiest and unluckiest grounds that you played at, Dom?
I suppose. Well, Oxford was quite lucky for me because when I played there, I think we played there 3 or 4 times and we never got beat there.
Yeah,
I remember that. But I don't think it's all so different now. I mean, we didn't even know where we were lucky or where we were unlucky in those days. You went out and played, and that was it. I think. Yeah. You know, you didn't think about things like that.
Any ground?
The manager wouldn't have let you.
Any ground that you used to think, oh, we're playing here today, you're looking forward to it more than a normal game, i.e. when it's a derby game, I guess you shouldn't be, but I think naturally you are up for it more when there's a bigger crowd and there's more on it.
Oh, yeah, I think the local games were always the best ones in our day.
Who were they against?
We had Reading, the 2 Bristols, Bristol Rovers, Bristol City, Oxford.
Yeah.
And they were always the games you look forward to, really.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And what was the atmosphere and what was the dynamics going away in them big games, them big derby games?
Oh, these brilliant games because there's good support. There's always good support then as well.
Yeah.
So I think there was always good crowds. Every game we had, every local derby would be very well supported. Big crowds. What
was the best bit of advice that you were given through your career, Don?
Well, I can only say that at the start of my career, of course, I was an out-and-out winger. Yes. And the manager, Bert Head, used to say to me, keep your left foot on the white line. And so he would say that to me all the time. But the best advice he gave me was take him on. That's all he would ever say to me. If I lost the ball, he never moaned at me. He wanted me to take the full-back on and go past him. And you learn everything after that. Once you start doing that, you learn when to go past and when not to.
I've always been of the opinion the greatest sight in football is a winger going past his fullback and taking players on. Would you?
I say that to everybody now. I said what we want to see at the county ground is somebody going past, somebody crossing it in, and somebody heading it in, and you get the biggest cheer in the world.
Yeah.
Because it's all what we want to see.
Absolutely. And again, keep your foot on that white line. You'd stay wide. You'd open the game up. We used to have proper wingers back in those days. Sadly, I guess as well with England winning the 1966 World Cup without wingers were a little bit, wasn't they, really? And I think that the likes of yourself, I mean, okay, Charlie Cook played for Scotland, but, you're looking at Ian Storey-Moore and, wingers of that ability were really overlooked, wasn't they, by England?
They were, and there was a lot of good wingers around as well. A lot of good wingers around when I was playing.
Every team had a winger. You needed a winger. You needed that player that could take them on. And like you were equally as good on that left foot and that right foot as well, wasn't you?
Yeah. It just makes no difference, So either foot with me didn't make any difference, no. That's one thing.
Were you naturally left or right-footed, Don? I can't remember.
Right-footed.
Right-footed. Yeah, got you.
Definitely, yeah. Yeah, if I took something important, it was with my right foot.
Yeah. By the way, 17th of February, 1973. Can you remember taking something with your right foot then?
1973.
Yeah. Goal of the season? Crystal Palace versus Stoke.
Stoke City, yes.
What a goal that was, wasn't it?
Yes, I enjoy that. Yeah, so I sometimes get that up if I can. If I'm feeling a bit down, I have a look at that.
I mean, it was one hell of a goal. You've got the ball on the left, haven't you? You've just beat Jackie Marsh to the ball, and he's backed off. You've took him on. You've then come inside. The commentator was Brian Moore. He didn't.
Yes.
In those days, it's not as what it is now, I guess. And he said the player come into the ball, and then you took him on as well. It might have been Alan Bloor. It certainly wasn't Dennis Smith. It might have been Bloor. And then you've give the goalkeeper the eyes, and you've just put it over him. I mean, what a goal!
Yeah, so that was a pretty good goal. That I was at Crystal Palace. Actually, I was lucky because I scored 4 or 5 really good goals in my first year.
Yeah,
and they were all televised. Of course, that was good.
Yeah, it is, and that's the problem. Back then, it was only Match of the Day or the big match on ITV or the regionalised. What was your regional programme there in the West Country? Who used to present it, Don?
Who's that now? Oh, crook, I should know.
In Birmingham, it was Star Soccer and Hugh Johns.
Oh, yeah, who did ours now? Oh, crike. Mamma mia. God, talk about when you get old, your mind goes. I can't remember that, no. I might remember it in a minute. Well,
if you remember it, just shout it up.
Yeah, I will.
If you could revisit a season, just one season during your career, what season would it be and why?
Oh, it'd be 68, 69.
Okay.
Definitely the year we won the cup final at Wembley.
Yeah.
It was obvious. That was everything when we got promoted as well the same year. Couldn't have a better year than what we had then. And
it was one hell of a cup run, wasn't it, in that year? Promotion.
We beat a lot of good teams, yes. We beat a lot of good teams in that cup run.
Can you remember who you played in the first round?
First round was Bradford City.
That was the second round. You played Torquay in the first round.
Oh, did we?
Yeah. Yeah, you beat.
I forgot that.
You beat already 2-1. And then in the second round, you played Bradford, didn't you?
Drew away.
1-1.
And we beat them by the odd goal at home.
Yeah,
3-2, was it?
4-3.
4-3, yeah. That's right.
And I mean, that looks on paper a cracking game.
We were losing at home. We were losing as well that game. I remember that.
I mean, how many times when you win a cup have you, in rounds earlier, got yourself back into the game? It's uncanny, isn't it, really?
Well, I was, that year, our name was written on the cup.
Exactly, yeah.
A couple of things that happened during that. I mean, we beat Derby in the quarter-final.
Yeah, you did, yeah.
We got absolutely hammered away from home. We drew 0-0.
Yes.
And we played them at home, and I've had a shot from about 20 yards. It's hit Dave McCoy in the middle of the back. looped up and gone over the goalkeeper. 1-0 we beat them.
Yeah, they all go in.
It was the flukiest goal you've ever seen. So,
Let's just talk about Dave Mackay for a moment. How instrumental was Dave, and what a legend he is.
Of course, he wasn't very well liked here because everybody thought that he sold me.
Oh, right, okay.
But I had nothing to do with him at all. He wasn't even involved with it. But yeah, I got sold to Crystal Palace, and of course he was in charge, but he didn't have anything to do with it. But all the supporters blamed him for it.
You see, again, this is what happens. Fans just see what they want to see, and sometimes managers have no input into who goes out, and sometimes who's coming in. Well,
it was the board that decided it all. I mean, they were the ones that did it all. So, but he got the blame.
Semi-final, two-legged semi-final.
Yes.
Can you remember the first game?
I do. Away at Burnley.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a brilliant result for us, that was.
2-1, yeah, great result.
Winning away at Burnley 2-1, crikey me.
Because they would have been first division, wouldn't they, in them days?
Yeah, they were at the top and all.
They were,
They were no suckers, they were a decent team, they were.
They were probably just coming away from those glory years, because they won the title, didn't they, 1960, and they got to, or 60, and then got to the FA Cup final in 1962. So they were a pretty... They
were on their way back, weren't they, when that year, wasn't they? They were starting to get good again. And
again, when we're talking about youth and young kids, Burnley have always had a good youth policy, or certainly did in them days, didn't they?
They have, haven't they? Club. Yeah, you're right. They have. Yeah, they were always known for that when they're the youngsters.
Yeah. And then in the second leg, you got beat by...
We were 2-0 down. Yeah, we were on our way out.
Yeah.
And little John Smith headed one in.
Which made it 3-3 on aggregate, taking you to a replay.
At West Brom.
Oh, you played it at the Hawthorns?
We did. Yes.
What was your memories of that game?
Well, I remember all three games, actually, because I didn't have a kick.
Really? Okay. Who was marking you, Don?
I did very little, I'll tell you that. I don't know. Yeah, I hardly touched the ball. Right. So it was just as anything when we won. But the memories, I mean, the best memories that we had fish and chips after the game from the shop up the road.
What, down in Handsworth in Birmingham?
Yeah, can you believe that? We just got to Wembley, we had fish and chips up the road.
But again,
unbelievable.
But that's what they used to do in them days. I mean, famously, that's what Liverpool used to do, didn't they? On the coach on the way back, stop and we'll have fish and chips.
Yeah, that's what we had that night. Remember that? Nothing was organised. We just had fish and chips as we were,
Yeah.
Which was great, mind, because it wouldn't have mattered what we had because we was over the moon then.
I mean, literally, you would have been on cloud nine. But how did it feel? Getting to Wembley and thinking you're going to be plying your trade on that famous pitch that 3 years ago England had won the World Cup.
Yeah, that's right. It was an unbelievable feeling. I mean, you couldn't really, because we weren't supposed to be there, were we? I mean, it's great for us because, I mean, we weren't given any chance, any rounds to get through, but we kept beating everybody. But it was one of those teams we had that you get them at all clubs like ours, you sort of click together. Every so often, you get a team that comes along. The manager's got the right players in, which Danny Williams did. He got all the players in that sort of gelled, and great team spirit we had. And you go on and do something good.
Yeah. Yeah, again, the League Cup had a little bit of form for third division teams getting to the final, because, of course, 2 years prior to that, Queen's Park Rangers beat West Bromwich Albion.
Yes, they did.
But,
but you weren't playing like now. You was playing the full first teams of everybody. It wasn't sort of
it does my
reserve teams.
It does my head in now, Don. You get the League Cup games, you get the FA Cup games, and you're right, it's the reserve team. Back in your day, you would play League Cup games. We just gone through your League Cup run there. You must have played 8 or 9 games in just that League Cup.
We did.
You'd have FA Cup games. You'd play 46 league games. You would be playing so many games of football. I mean, you never heard of any players back in them days that were tired. And you had a small squad that pretty much the same 11 played every week in, week out.
No, I was just going to say that to you. I
Yeah.
think we went through about 15 players, that's all that season.
Yeah.
Now they would have about 35 players now to get through a season like that.
Yeah. It's
because we must have had 3 or 4 replays that season in the cup.
And then the old myth that comes out, players are fitter now. I'm going, you must be having a laugh. Back in them days, you played on pitches that were not fit for purpose. These days they wouldn't be. Mud, you'd be lucky if you got a blade of grass on some of the pitches. You'd be kicked from pillar to post. I mean,
you could guarantee the Swindon pitch from October through till April would be 4 corners would be grass and then the rest would be brown.
Absolutely.
You know, and that's what we played on. And when it was wet, it was blooming wet.
And the balls in them days, completely different. When they got wet, they didn't
go anywhere in my day. No, you had to kick it to make it go.
Exactly. And the boots weren't like slippers that they wear today. You didn't play on like green, like a golf.
Well, they wouldn't get away with it now. The boots would end up in the mud, wouldn't they?
Absolutely.
They'd come off their feet.
Absolutely. So,
but you get people of my age all say that, you know, what are they on about? They've got to play 2 games a week or something. What are they talking about?
Yeah.
That was heaven for me.
Yeah.
When I played Saturday, Tuesday, wonderful. No training. Bit of warming up, and he was just playing games all the time. Brilliant.
Again, it's another myth that, you know, I've spoken to many professional footballers. I don't know one that would rather train than play football. So when they go on about playing all these games, I'm thinking, hey, and I just think it's the media these days that.
Yeah, there probably is a lot of it.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that they make it up, but they need to sell papers and need to get people talking. And I think tiredness in football is one of them that gets us old fellas really.
So it's the way they're looked after now as well, isn't it? I mean, crikey, me in our day, jeepers. Yeah. What did you have? You had a hot lamp.
Yeah.
And something else. That was about it.
Wet sponge.
That's it. Oh, that was a funny one when you were on the pitch with a sponge, wasn't it? In the bladder, the football bladder, with the water in, with a sponge in it. That when Harry Cousins used to run across the pitch, you got up. So don't put that on me.
I mean,
that was funny.
And it was called, wasn't it, the magic sponge in those days?
Magic sponge, yeah, that's what it used to be. But Harry Cousins used to say, if you get up before I get across there, he said, I'll smack you.
I'm guessing I know the answer to this one. But if you could replay one game for your career, what game would it be and why? That's so rhetorical, it's untrue, isn't it?
Well, it would definitely be, there's 2 games that I really, in my career, that was the Wembley Cup final.
Yes.
And the Crystal Palace v Man United game, and we beat them 5-0.
Let's talk about both of them. Let's start
in
1969. How did it feel walking out the Twin Towers, the proper Wembley, before it was an arch, the proper Wembley with the Twin Towers?
Well, everything was lovely, wasn't it? I mean, just going up towards Wembley, and that was a brilliant sight to start with. And then everything was just, I don't know, it's just wonderful. Everything was just good. You look forward to it, and when you got there, it was even better than you thought.
What was the build-up like? Can you remember much about the build-up of that day or the week leading up to it?
We didn't change our thing at all, really. Yeah. We just carried on the way we were doing everything. So
yeah,
but we didn't really change.
It strikes me that the more successful teams are the ones that pretty much treat it as another game. And
that's what it is, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, yeah. I think when you go away, you stay in the hotel and you might have a few more days down there. I remember Malcolm McDonald telling me about Newcastle in 1974, and I think he said they stayed for a week down in London and really made a spectacle of it. And he said it just threw all the preparations really out the window. We just wanted to do what we usually used to do at St James's Park, go out, play football. It's just another game. You took the lead in the 36th minute. That must have been such an adrenaline boost for Swindon Town.
Oh, crikey, it was. I mean, I don't think we could all believe it, really, that we were winning again.
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong, we were confident we could play anybody and beat anybody, but when you actually get out there and you go one up, you think, oh, Christ, what's going on here?
Yeah.
They were a better team than us on the day, but I mean, we were quite comfortable, really.
Mm. Until Bobby Gould broke your heart.
Until good, yeah. Well, I still blame myself for that, because if you watch it, 30 seconds, no less than that, I give the ball away.
Mm.
And it broke to them, and he scored, and I thought, oh, Christ, what have I done?
Yeah.
But as it happens, it turned out for the best.
But again, it's an if only, isn't it? If only you didn't beat, you got past your defender, then delivered the ball and it's into the box, and you put your team 2-0 up. Football is fine margins, and I think that you've always got to play the way that you feel naturally, taking players on. And yes, sometimes you are going to lose the ball, and it puts the cosh a little bit, doesn't it, Dan?
Yeah, no, it didn't really bother me. It really bothered me because I'd been doing that all my life. So,
yeah, absolutely.
I realised what I'd caused when I did it. Nobody else did. Nobody ever said to me, "Oh, you realise you lost the ball." Yeah. Nobody ever said anything about that because of what happened after.
Talk to me about what happened after. On the 104th minute, how did you feel?
Well, that was the best feeling ever. That was. I can tell you. Yeah, I mean, because there was a right mix-up in the corner came over, and there's a mix-up in the box between one of our players has gone to head it somewhere, and one of them gone to shoot, and it didn't go anywhere they meant it to go, and I dragged it across and knocked it in with my left foot. And it went through somebody's legs and off, but it didn't matter where it went. That was it. 1-0. 2-1, I mean. Off we go.
Now, I'm guessing at that moment, you could have run all the way back to Swindon on your own without getting into a car, a coach, or a train.
No, I'm afraid, no, I never used to be like that. I just used to turn around and to celebrate with the team, I did.
Yeah.
That's one thing I get annoyed at nowadays, when they move out the way, that they're running up to the crowd and running. Yes, your fellow teammates is what counts.
Yeah. Yeah. But what I mean is that adrenaline, the way that you felt, you must have felt you could have, literally like the old thing, the cow jumped over the moon. You must have felt like that. I mean...
Well, I did get a great feeling, but of course the next goal I scored, I could have ran all the way to Swindon then. Because it meant we'd won. That was all I was worried about.
You latched onto the ball. Talk me through that goal, Don.
Well,
what was going through your mind?
Well, I didn't mind the situation because I got the ball just inside our half.
Yep.
I was just onside.
Yeah.
And I'm off then. There's nobody in front of me. I thought, well, they're not going to catch me.
Yeah.
And I'd made my mind up I was going to go round him.
Mm.
And as luck would have it, I mean, it didn't bobble.
Yeah.
Because the pitch was terrible, as you know.
Yes.
And it landed on the flat bit. So I knocked it in the back of the net, which sounds easy, but it was easy at the time. But it was one of those things, it's probably a lot difficult than what I made it look.
Did it feel as though it was in slow motion? The nearer that you got to the goal and...
It did, actually, when I got there, yeah. It did. That's true.
At what stage did you know you was going to go round the goalie rather than give him the eyes and do what you did?
Oh, early on, early on. Halfway towards the goal, I knew I was going to take it round him.
Yeah.
I'd made my mind up to do that. You've got to. If you don't, you're in trouble.
Exactly.
You have to know what you're doing.
Yeah. So it's Swindon Town 3, Arsenal 1, 98,189 fans, and you've received the League Cup winners' medal going up there and getting that medal. I mean, that must have just been, again, such a fantastic feeling.
It is. It's just, you can't explain to people what the feeling is, really, because it's just...
No, you can't.
Well, I don't know, everybody's talking to one another and thinking this, that and the other and looking around to see where your family is and everything else. Everything's going on.
Mm.
I think the best part is probably later on in the evening when you've settled down a bit and you're all together, and that's the best part, I think. Looking back is when we were all together.
What was that celebration like at that dinner? How did it feel?
Well, the good thing about it was that we had Bob Monkhouse.
Oh, right, okay.
He was doing the talk, the bit in the middle of everything, so you know how good he is.
Oh, legend.
He was absolutely brilliant. He'd done all his homework. He knew all the villages around Swindon, and he was coming up with all the names, and he was absolutely brilliant. He really was, and he, of course, he's quipping. He said, "I'm glad I'm here and not with the Arsenal dinner." He said. I always remember him saying that. He said it'd be very quiet there. No, but it was brilliant. It was a brilliant night. Brilliant night.
And
couldn't be better.
You stayed over in London, then made your way back to Swindon the day after, I'm guessing.
Yes, we did. Yeah,
yeah.
Well, it was a bit unfortunate for me because I went and did an interview on the television.
Yeah.
And all the rest came back together. Well, I came back after everybody. At the time now, I wish I hadn't now.
Yeah.
I'd rather have been with everybody else. So.
But having said that, they always want to interview the goal scorer. And,
yeah, of course they do.
I mean, what a brace, putting a smile on all those faces of the...
Oh, it was brilliant in Swindon. Absolutely brilliant. The week after that, you can imagine what Swindon was like.
I can bet. Did you have an open-top bus that went
Yeah, we did,
yeah.
Yeah. We had a following day.
Yeah.
It was all organised. So, yeah, that was great. That was, I think everybody in Swindon was out on the street, I think.
I bet there was.
I reckon everybody was.
A day that will never be forgotten in the memory banks of anybody that supports Swindon, or even the ones that don't particularly support Swindon, but live there and was there that day because...
They know all about it.
Yeah,
oh, yes,
absolutely.
they know all about it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, I speak to somebody about it probably every week, once a week probably.
Yeah.
I would think somebody mentions it to me.
Do you go back to the ground much more? Because you have got a stand named after you, haven't you, Don?
Yeah, I go every home game, yeah.
Got ya.
Yeah, I don't miss any home game.
Do you work in any of the rooms?
No.
Okay. So
I'm too old for that.
Don, you ain't too old. You're an absolute legend. You're one of the greatest players ever to play for Swindon. Do you? Where'd you go in a lounge and have something to eat? Do they look after you at Swindon?
No, I don't, because I'm down the shop. I got my shop and I don't leave the shop because my wife looks after it.
Yeah.
Saturday afternoons on her own, so I leave probably as late as I can. I go about 2:15.
And just sit in a stand like normal fans?
No. I go up into one of the rooms and have a coffee and everything and all that. I could go and have a...
Explaining football to the friend who's just there for the nachos? Hard. Tailgating from home like a pro with snacks and drinks everyone will love? An easy win. And with Instacart helping deliver the snack time MVPs to your door, you're ready for the game in as fast as 30 minutes. So you never miss a play or lose your seat on the couch or have to go head-to-head for the last chicken wing. Shop Game Day Faves on Instacart and enjoy $0 delivery fees on your first 3 grocery orders. Offer valid for a limited time. Other fees and terms apply.
Discover Hydro, the best-kept secret in fitness. Hydro is the state-of-the-art at-home rower that engages 86% of your muscles, delivering the ultimate full-body workout in just 20 minutes. From advanced to beginner, Hydro has over 500 classes shot worldwide and taught by Olympians and world-class athletes. For a 30-day risk-free trial, go to hydro.com and use code ROW450 to save $450 on a Hydro Pro rower. That's HYDROW.com, code ROW450.
Everything I want to do, but I don't. I'm not. That means I have to go about 12 or whatever, 1 o'clock, and I don't want to do that and leave my wife in shop on her own.
League games for Swindon Town, 411, 1 substitute, 148 goals. There was 2 spells from 62 to 72, and then you went back, didn't you, 76 to 77. FA Cup you played 31 times, twice as a sub, scoring 12 goals. And in the League Cup you played 34 games, scoring 17 goals. One hell of a return that is for a winger. Crystal Palace you moved to in 72, 74. You played 70 times, scoring 28 goals. Moved across London, 74 to 76. QPR. I mean, your figures are absolutely incredible for a winger.
Hip had gone then. When I moved to QPR, the hip had gone.
I'll tell you what, you still netted 5 times in 18 goals, Don.
Oh, right.
Yeah. So.
Not bad then. But my hip had gone then, I know that.
Well, this is the thing, isn't it? You know, with the wear and tear and the stick that you take, and I'm sure the injections that you took to get you onto a pitch, it all takes its toll, doesn't it?
Well, I didn't have any injections in my hip because it had just gone. I was told it had gone before I went to QPR. So, but it wasn't hurting me at the time, but it was slowing me down. That's what it was doing.
Greatest characters in your dressing rooms. Paul Fletcher said to me in one of the... Whatever dressing room you went to the 70s, there'd be an English, Irish, Scotsman and a Welshman. And you'd have a comedian, a ladies' man, a dresser. And those were all the characters in every dressing room. He said it was great. Who were those characters in your dressing room that you included?
Yeah, it was a bit different down here in the West Country, I think. But we certainly had a mix. The year we won the League Cup, we certainly had a mixed bag. We had John Smith from London, of course. He was the bit of a joker, John. Yeah. We had Stan Harland, who was the captain. He was a bit... what would Stan be? I don't know. I suppose Rob Thomas would be the joker. I suppose he'd be our joker of the team, and Tomo.
Yeah.
He was always having a laugh.
Who was a smart one?
We had Pete Downs with the goalkeeper at his pigeons.
Typical goalkeeper, isn't he?
Yeah, pigeons he did, Pete. So yeah, we had a right mixed bag, I tell you.
Fantastic. I asked Dennis Mortimer the same question about who these, the characters, the comedian, the ladies' man, the dresser and stuff. So I said, who was that in your dressing rooms, Dennis? He said, Ernie Hunt. He was all of them.
Yeah, he's probably right, yeah.
He said Ernie ticked every box. Did you play much with Ernie?
Ernie Hunt?
Yeah.
Yeah, I played my first 8 or 10 games. That was a team he was in, yeah.
Because he got sold, didn't he, to Wolverhampton Wanderers?
Wolverhampton Wanderers, yeah.
About 68, wasn't it? Because Ernie played in that game over in America. Although now I think it might have been 1967 that he got transferred to Wolverhampton Wanderers.
I played quite a few with Ernie.
Yeah.
Quite a few games, yeah.
I mean, what an absolute character. Mike Summerby, was Mike still there while you made your debut?
Mike went pretty quick to Man City. He went off to Man City, didn't he?
Yeah.
It must have been there a season or so with me. Yeah, he must have had a season, I reckon, or two before he left.
During your career, what's the most prized possession that you got from your playing days?
Prized possession? I suppose probably have to be the tankard from the League Cup final, I suppose.
Because that's what you used to get, didn't you? You got tankards.
We got a tankard, yeah.
Rather than a medal, didn't you?
Yeah, I suppose that... that would be the best thing I've got, I suppose. I've got a few things when we won in Italy, and we went to Italy. I've got a nice gold medal that's on my wife's bracelet. That's nice. That was a nice thing.
Tell me about Italy.
That was another good thing for us, of course, because we beat a lot of good teams in that and we beat Juventus and Napoli in Italy.
Yeah.
To get to the final. Then we won the final 3-0 because it was abandoned after 75 minutes because it was crowd trouble.
There's a shock. It was the Anglo-Italian, wasn't it?
Anglo-Italian, yes. Yeah. It was really great for us. I mean, to win away in Juventus and Napoli wasn't a bad performance. We deserved to win it.
And the final, when you say it was abandoned, who was that against?
Napoli.
Oh, Naples. You played... Oh, right, okay, yeah.
They were in our group, and then won they were the top Italian club, and we were the top English club.
Yeah.
That's how it was done from the leagues, yeah. But it was always dreadful the way they were ripping all the stand up and throwing it on the pitch.
It doesn't surprise me. They're probably still do that today. There was always a history of trouble, crowd trouble and trouble between the players. What was it like on the pitch? Because they'd get up to all sorts, wouldn't they?
Oh, crikey.
Pull you, spit at you, kick at you.
First game I played against the Italians, I couldn't believe it. He kept grabbing hold of my shirt when the ball was nowhere near me.
Exactly, yeah.
I thought, what's going on here? I wasn't used to that. Oh, they were up to all the tricks. You're right there.
Yeah.
But unless you're on the pitch, you don't even know what's going on.
No.
People wouldn't have known he was holding my shirt because the ball was over the other side.
Yeah.
You know, you'd start to make a run and you'd think, why can't I run? Because he was holding your back.
Oh dear, they've never changed, have they? They've always been the same.
But again, they didn't like our style of play, you see, because we run with the ball. I got the ball and run up, and they thought, you ain't supposed to do that.
Yeah.
You're supposed to pass it. So they didn't like that type of thing.
Your highest high and your lowest low of your career. I'm guessing your highest high was Wembley.
Definitely.
You're going to get higher than that. What was your lowest low? And talk to me about that Manchester United game as well, when you absolutely...
Yeah, I suppose the lowest low would probably be, I think, when we got relegated to Crystal Palace the first season I was there from the first division. That wasn't, I didn't enjoy that at all. Sort of 6 months in Division 1 wasn't too good.
Yeah.
Could have done with a bit longer.
The Manchester game,
that was that. I would say, actually, it's probably, for me personally, it was the best game that I've ever played. There's no doubt about that, because most things went right for me that day.
Mm.
I did a lot of good things that came off and all things. You get games, you don't get many games like that, but I can remember and it was brilliant, because Crystal Palace had never beaten anybody like that.
Yeah.
By that scoreline, so it was a wonderful day.
Some of your teammates who was in that Crystal Palace, was Charlie Cook playing for Palace?
Charlie was, yeah, Charlie.
Yeah.
Mr. Football Charlie.
How was it like? Because Charlie would have been on the one wing and you on the other wing.
No, Charlie played inside left.
Oh, did he? Got ya.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, John Hughes was on the right wing.
Oh, okay.
Yogi Hughes played on the right wing, and I played on the left wing. And he played on the left wing, and I played on the right wing. It depends.
Who was centre forward then, up front with Charlie?
Well, to start off with, it was John Craven.
Right. Okay. I remember him. I remember. This football stickers that we used to get, the Panini stickers. I always remember John Craven in that, because John Craven used to have a news round. Obviously, it was a different John Craven.
Right, yeah.
But as kids, we'd go, how come he's playing for Crystal Palace and doing news round as well? So
and they signed Alan Whittle from Everton.
Yeah, got ya.
Just before the Man United game, because that was his first game. And he played up front then.
He was a decent player, wasn't he, Alan Whittle?
Alan was, yeah. He done well at Everton, didn't he?
He did, yeah. Yeah, he
done
did.
very well. And then we got Derek Posse from Millwall.
Right, okay.
He came, so we had the smallest forward line in the world.
I bet you did. Ain't no good on corners.
I was the tallest, and that was like 9.5 or whatever.
Yeah. Manna from heaven, as a winger, you're looking for that big man in the box. And,
no good at that in our team. No, it had to be played on the floor. Although Derek Posse was very good in the air, actually, as it happens. He scored a lot of goals with his head.
It wasn't
too bad at all.
It's quite incredible how some of you wouldn't think, because of their size, but how they get up and hang in the air, and how good some of the smaller forwards. Absolutely, yeah.
Well, that was the Swindon team. Pete Noble played up front for us.
Yeah. On
his own, really, and he was brilliant in the air. He was only 5'8".
Yeah, he was a good player.
And he scored a lot of goals with his head. He was brilliant.
He went on to play for Burnley, didn't he?
That's right. Yeah, that's where he was from. Yeah.
Yeah. Good player, wasn't
he? Yeah, he was a great player. He was.
Fantastic.
Liked him. Nice lad as well.
So beating Manchester United, that must, again, a great achievement in the Palace.
Oh, I don't think people could believe it. They couldn't believe it. It was 5-0.
Who was the manager of Man United? Was it O'Farrell in them days?
Yes, Frank O'Farrell, yeah.
That was the game that got him the sack, wasn't it?
I think it probably was, yeah. Dennis Law came on his sub. I always remember that.
Oh, right.
He was substitute that day.
But again, United, it wasn't the United team that...
Oh,
what was it, 5 years previously had won the European Cup?
Oh, no, it's good. You had Storymore, he played.
Yeah.
They had about 4 or 5 internationals playing, but the rest were nobodies, really. They didn't last long.
No, and certainly Frank O'Farrell didn't last long after that.
No.
Demolition. What was your biggest if-only moment? I mean, in football during a career, there's things that happen, and you just think, if only I'd have done that, it could have led to that. Is there many of them sliding door moments that you can think of during your career?
I suppose the if-only moments for me would be that I think people wanted to sign me and I never went.
Yeah. What team would you have liked to have gone to?
Well, I don't know, really. There was one or two, I know that.
Yeah.
You weren't supposed to know, but I did know.
Yeah.
Well, that would be the thing that would, I would have left Swindon earlier, I suppose, but I may not have won the League Cup fund.
Absolutely.
So I would have missed out on that. So I wouldn't say when you look back on it, I think I was very lucky the career I had, so I got no regrets. I'm lucky.
How did you get to know them? Because most players don't, do they? The manager generally don't tell the players.
Well, the coach, I think there was a bit more scouting going on then, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. There was one or two scouts in Swindon, yeah.
Yeah.
Or the surrounding area, anyway.
With loose tongues, yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And again, players get tapped up, so it's not the way that you go through the official, but you tend to know who's after you. And
well, that's right. You wouldn't.
Sometimes you don't.
My day, it was a no-no, wasn't it? You weren't allowed to say anything to anybody. So
absolutely,
there you go.
Yeah.
Well, I think when Malcolm Alice came to Palace, I think he said he had a word about signing me for Man City.
Okay.
Yeah, so that never came to anything. So
international honours under 23s. Any caps there, Dom?
Yeah, I played 2 or 3. Yeah, 2, I think.
Yeah.
Southampton and Swansea. I played. Yeah. So I scored in one of them. I played for the Football League as well. That was the one thing I did do.
Okay. Who was that against?
Against the Scottish League.
Yeah, they used to do a few games, didn't they? They'd also have a game against the Italian League. I'd quite like them to do that these days, a Football League game. I think that'd be good value.
Go on. I was a bit disappointed because the only person who didn't get a full cap was me.
You're joking?
Out of the 12 that played that night, yeah.
How did that work?
I don't know. No wingers off. It was Ramsey, wasn't it?
Ask Alan Hudson about Ramsey.
Although I did go on, I went on a 2-week tour with him to Gibraltar. Ramsey was in charge. He took 8 of the England youth team that won the Little World Cup in Holland and 8 older players from the Division 1.
Yeah.
30-year-olds like that, or 35, whatever. And he took us to Gibraltar for it. We played a few games over there.
What year would that be, Don?
That would be... What would that be after the league? I don't know. We won the cup in 64. Just after probably 65, I reckon.
Okay. After you won the League Cup?
We won the Little World Cup in Holland.
Oh, right, okay. Talk to me about that, then. I didn't realise that.
Yeah, we played over in Holland. We were over there a fortnight, Easter time.
Oh, okay. What teams were competing, and how did you get there? There was no qualification. Did you just play?
I think there was 8 teams, I think it was.
Okay. We
beat Portugal in the final 4-1. We played Ireland. I'm not sure who else we played now. Yeah, we had a group, I think it was 4 teams in each group. And we beat Portugal 4-1 in the final, and I got player of the match for the final.
Oh, well done.
I still got me trophy.
Oh, right. So did you play all over Holland, or was it based in Amsterdam or Rotterdam, for instance?
I think they were just based around Amsterdam.
Yeah, got you.
I don't remember going anywhere else.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was over a 2-week period, so it was the only games I missed for the first team that year. I played 38 or 42. So I missed 4 games over Easter.
So after that then, Ramsey took you over to Gibraltar?
Ramsey took 16 of us to Gibraltar, yeah.
And how many games did you play over there?
We played 2, I think.
Oh, right, okay. What other players were there, Don? Can you remember?
Well, I always remember, what was the fella that went, Jimmy, what was his name?
Who did he play for?
He more or less had one young lad with an old lad.
Yeah, got ya.
The rooms we were sharing, we had 8 rooms, double rooms, and we were sharing with an older... I can't remember who was on it now, to be honest. No, this is something that was all right at the time, but... No, I can't remember.
Yeah. If you could have a 1-to-1 with anyone dead or alive, who would it be with and why?
A 1-to-1?
Yeah. A coffee, an alcoholic drink, anything, just a chat.
Who would that be now?
Like, that could have been like Jesus, Moses, could be anyone. They don't necessarily need to be alive now, but just anybody that you would like to have a chat with.
That's a good question, that is.
Thanks, Tom. Yeah.
Yeah, I can't. I don't know, to be honest with you.
Have a think about that for a while.
Yeah.
Away from football, what did you do? How did you chill out? Did you watch the TV? Were you into music? Did you play golf, etc.? What was you doing away from the football pitch, Don?
Well, when I went Palace, I used to play golf once a week on a Wednesday afternoon. Mm-hmm. That's what we used our time up on that. I'm trying to think when we was in Swindon, what we did. Well, we was all going out in the evenings together and all that. We was doing loads, we've been normal people.
Yeah.
We all going local pub or something, or local dance hall, or all that sort of stuff.
Any special?
So we used to get around together. Yeah. That was a good thing about our team we had then.
Yeah, great camaraderie and team spirit.
Yeah, there was always 10 or 11 of us going,
About TV programmes, what TV programmes were you watching in those days? What did you like to watch on the box?
I think I was like everybody else. I think there'd be a lot of things on a Saturday and Sunday, was there? That, like there is, like Michael McIntyre now and all that. That was the sort of things we all used to watch.
Yeah. Top of the Pops. Was you into music in them days?
No, I've never been into music. But I used to watch Top of the Pops, I must admit that.
Pans People.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
Everybody says that. If you wasn't a footballer, what do you think you would have become, Don?
Well, I would have become an electrician, I think, because I'd already just sent off my application to be an apprentice electrician at the Southern Electric.
Oh, okay.
And I would say, no, good job I didn't, because I'd have killed a few people. Well, I'd look at my hands, that'd be no good at all.
When did the famous moustache arrive at what's that? And did you think about growing one, or did you just, how come it...
To be honest with you, I don't know why, what, how, what, I don't really know how I got it.
Yeah. Because it's quite a famous
I know my wife
moustache,
won't let me shave it off. She won't let me shave it off. I'm not allowed to shave it off. I said I was going to shave it off once. Well, I did shave it off once, and she cried for a week, so I had to grow it back, and now I'm not allowed to take it off at all, mate.
Oh, dear. Have you remembered who you'd like to have a drink with?
Yeah, I'm just trying to think, actually, who I would fancy having a drink with.
Any players that you would have liked to have played with during your career, but you didn't? Or a team that you would have liked
Glenn
to play
Hoddle.
with? Oh, okay, yeah. Yeah.
It would have been great playing with him through balls. Absolutely brilliant.
Yeah.
I think I'd have scored double if I played with him.
And this is the thing, isn't it? As good as some players are, when you've got that ammunition from players in your team, it makes you even better, doesn't it? It gets you better goal return as well.
It does. Yeah, it would have done with him. Because if you'd run, he'd have found you.
And that's the difference between some of them players.
Oh, the players nowadays and him, I think. How he didn't get more caps, I don't know.
It's incredible, isn't it?
I don't know.
I remember I'd done a podcast with Alan Clark, and he was talking to me about his Fulham days. And he said, I used to play with Johnny Haynes. And he said, Johnny would just say to me, you make the run, and I'll find you.
Find you, yeah, that's right.
And he says, I just used to make the net, blimey, there's the ball. And the ball had just arrived because he could just stick it on a tanner.
Well, that's what Hoddle used to do, didn't he?
Yeah, people always used to say about, he plays a lot of long balls. Glenn Hoddle will play long balls, short balls. What an absolute talent off both feet as well. And
the thing is, they can't do that now, can they?
No.
The players of today can't do what he does.
No, they can't.
Well, it's not. I don't know. They can't. They won't because they just want to keep the ball.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's pass. Sideways, backwards, pass. Yeah. There's
no way of trying to score goals, is there?
No. The game.
We'll play it across the back a dozen times, and then we'll see what happens.
Yeah, absolutely. There's no fun in the game like there used to be back in the 60s and back in the 70s. The ethos and the philosophy of teams was, well, let's go out and let's play football. We'll try and score more goals than you. It's too defensive-minded now. Players don't like taking risks. a manager.
Well, you have to try and do something, don't you? That's what I always think.
I just
try and do.
Yeah, absolutely. I just don't think players take players on like they used to. There's the excitement isn't there like it used to be.
Well, you know that's why that is, because they don't like taking chances, do they?
Absolutely, no.
There's no chances done at all.
And there's no terracing now. I mean, the heart and the soul of football really is ripped out. I do tend to watch a lot of games of football these days, but I'll be honest, at half time with many games, I'll turn it off and watch Netflix because it just bores me. It just pass. I mean, when you're centre half and your fullbacks are getting more of the ball than your wingers and your creative players, you've got a problem.
You see who's the top touches of the ball, and it's a centre half now. I just don't believe it.
It's incredible, yeah. I mean, I remember Al saying that he went to a Chelsea game and he said, "You know what your problem is? Your centre half having more touches of the ball than your inside forwards and your forward players." But again, that's the way, unfortunately, the game has gone today. It's not as romantic as what it was. You guys of yesteryear played in a very, very special age of football. For me, those were the halcyon days.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, the money wasn't there like it is today, sadly.
Oh no, but we had it. I think when I played, we had probably the best time in football. I think so.
Yeah, definitely.
The money wasn't very good, but we enjoyed ourselves.
Yeah, I think definitely everything was so much. I mean, as you'd alluded to earlier, you could go out on the town and you could, the team would go out and you'd have nights out together. Players today can't do that. It's a different world. It's a different society. And I say, and not for the better. Have you thought about who you was going to have a drink with, Don?
I'm still thinking now, actually. Yeah, I wouldn't like to say. I'd just got to give that a lot of thought, I think. I used to enjoy my drinks with Malcolm Allison.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
He was great to talk to, Malcolm.
I mean, he was a character, wasn't he? I mean,
he's brilliant.
Yeah.
Or you just talk football.
Yeah. But again,
and he just wanted everybody to play football.
Yeah.
No kick and rush, football.
I mean, he was old school managers, coaches back then. Old school, they were just different class, wasn't they? And he was a decent player himself, but he had to retire. He had TB, didn't he? And I think he had one of his lungs removed. So
he did, yes, yeah. But he was certainly interesting to listen to.
And what a character! I don't think there's many characters. Well, we don't have characters like Big Mel.
No. I mean, he used to say. I mean, one game remember we played Portsmouth away, and he said, "Today I'm going to count how many times you give the ball away." And things like that. But I mean, because he wanted you to keep the ball, So that was what. Things like that, he'd come up and talk to you, and he was really good to talk to.
But again, what a great manager to play with, someone that's got charisma, has got character, wants to encourage you to play football. I mean, how could you not play football for a manager like that?
He liked his champagne as well.
Oh, didn't he? I mean, so many. I mean, that fedora hat as well, and he'd be in the bath, wouldn't he? The big bath with a couple of birds as well. I
was unlucky with him one night because we went to a dinner.
Yeah.
It was a junior boxing dinner in London, Evening Standard, and we've had a little bit of a meal before the boxing started and all that, and there was about a few bottles of wine on the table then. So I drew the short straw. I was sat with Malcolm during the boxing, wasn't I? So there was bottles of champagne under the chair. It was a good night, needless to say.
I bet it was.
And he was my manager, so he was all right.
How long did you play for Malcolm for?
A season and a bit, really. Season and a half.
Yeah. Because again,
he did try to sell me when I was at Palace, of course.
Yeah.
To Chelsea.
Oh right, okay.
It was all agreed. Yeah.
Oh right.
He came up to me on the Friday and said, "You won't be playing tomorrow." He said, "You're off to Chelsea Monday." I thought, "All right, fair enough." Mm-hmm. But the bloke at Chelsea put the mockers on it and wouldn't let him have the money to spend on me. So I didn't go.
Oh right.
was in all the papers in London at the time. Because they all know, don't they?
Yeah. So what year would that have been? I mean, you were there at
That
Palace.
would have been 70... Was it 73?
Yeah, 73.
Yeah, I think it was 73, I think, yeah.
Because when Malcolm come to Crystal Palace, he changed everything, didn't he? He changed the kit.
Oh, yeah.
He changed the nickname. He changed everything, really, didn't he?
Oh, he changed it around, yeah.
So,
yeah, he said...
Who did Malcolm buy you, Don? For
No, he came 4 months after.
So, what was the manager at Palace then?
Bert Head.
At Crystal Palace?
Yeah.
Right,
yeah,
okay.
The Swindon manager signed me on, then of course he took me to Palace as well.
Right, got ya. And then he got the sack and Big Malcolm in.
Malcolm came in, yeah.
So before Malcolm Allison come in there, what was it like? What were the dynamics that he changed? Because my understanding is that he changed the colours, he changed the nickname. It was there were the Glazers before, wasn't they? And he turned
That's right.
The Eagles.
Oh, he certainly. Did we change the kit that week?
I'm sure
that
he changed.
year?
Yeah.
The second year he was there, we changed the kit. Yeah.
And what was his training method like, Don?
It was all about. It was all about playing football. To be honest with you.
Yeah.
Everything was to playing football. I don't know. That's all you can say, really.
Yeah.
Everything we did was down to playing football, passing the ball and moving around, and he had a good philosophy, the way to play.
Mm. He certainly cut his teeth, didn't he, at City?
At City, yes, he did.
With Joe Mercer, and then when he come to, ideal place for him as well, wasn't it? London, you know.
Yeah, he'd have loved that. Yes, yeah.
Did he have the fedora in those days as well?
Yeah. After I'd gone, I'd left then, I think.
Got you, yeah.
Yeah, his fedora, I think I'd left.
What?
Yeah, all the shenanigans was after I left. When he had that woman in the bath and all that was after I'd gone.
He was just a one-off, wasn't he? If you could sum up your playing career or the 70s in a sentence, how would you describe those halcyon days, Don?
In the 70s.
Full of TV just coming in, hadn't we?
Oh, it was, yeah. I mean, it was just...
changing,
as I said before, it's just enjoyable.
Yeah.
You look forward to training every day. You look forward to doing, you just enjoy yourself.
Yeah.
I don't know whether they do nowadays, a lot of the time, to be honest with you.
When I'm watching players these days, it looks so serious. Back in the day, players used to play with a smile on their face.
Yeah.
I think it was a completely different game.
They were everywhere, weren't they?
Yeah,
the smilers were everywhere.
Yeah, they were. But players actually looked as though they enjoyed playing football. They got paid because it was their job. It appears now that they just play football because they get paid, and it is a job.
Well, I always said that I played and then I got paid afterwards.
Yeah, absolutely.
I didn't get paid, for what I just enjoyed playing.
Yeah.
Well, I always remember my contracts at Swindon. I never read them.
Yeah.
I just signed them.
Mm. Yeah.
I just said, right, fine, yeah, great, no problem. All I want to do is play football.
Exactly. All you want to do is play football, score goals, win games, and enjoy the greatest game in the world, and what would be the greatest job. I mean, what a job. You'd dream about that as a kid, wouldn't you, Aaron?
Couldn't have a better job, could you?
No, you couldn't, no.
Loving what you're doing and getting paid for it at the end of the week. What more could you ask for? You couldn't.
And keeping yourself fit as well.
Oh, there's that as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so it was just really, really good.
Absolutely.
Couldn't wish for better.
And finally, what happens next? You retire from football. Did you open the sports shop straight away?
I opened the shop. No, I opened the sports shop in 1968.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, so you were...
Yeah. Right. 56 years old in April.
Blimey.
Yeah, I've had it that long. And we're still going.
So how come you decided to open a sports shop while you was playing for Swindon?
Well, it was all to do with somebody in Swindon wanted me to.
Oh, right.
it was a scout from a football club that come and had a chat with me, and then he suggested we opened up a shop, so we did.
Blimey, and you're still going to this day?
Yes, we are. Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
And whereabout is it in Swindon?
In the middle of Swindon, really, yes.
Oh, in the town centre?
Yeah, not far out, yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Fantastic. I always thought that, because when players finish, they think, well, what am I going to do with the rest of my life? What am I going to do? I've got a little bit of money that's saved. I'll go and sell insurance, or I'll go and buy a pub or be a publican or a sports shop. I thought, so blimey, you started it during the early days.
Well, I've seen everything in the sports trade, as you can imagine. 55 years, you've seen the lot. Absolutely. Sports director came on the scene, of course, and wrecked it all, because there's...
yeah.
But apart from that, it's changed so much. With the internet, of course.
So let's have a plug for your shop. If people want to come and buy your stuff, what's your website? How can people look up with your shop, Don?
It's just Don Rogers, yeah. Don-Rogers on the Don Rogers Sports is on the... Yeah, anybody can find it. Don Rogers Sports.
And what's the most popular thing that you sell in your sports shop?
Well, we are now, basically, we do a lot of junior teams around Swindon.
Yeah, got ya. Yeah.
Supply the kit.
Yeah.
And of course, trophy time now is coming up, so we do that as well.
Got ya.
That's our main thing.
Mm.
We sell a lot of trophies and a lot of football kit.
And of course, you sell the greatest toy that was ever invented, the football.
Yeah, oh yes, we do a lot of those.
And ain't they changed over the years as well?
Oh, crikey, what I've seen in those, I could... Oh, jeepers.
In 1970, we had the Telstar ball, and now God knows what kind of ball we've got now. It moves all over.
Oh, crikey, you could kick it miles now, couldn't you? I always think I'd look at watching cricket, and I'd think, jeepers. Wouldn't mind having a shot with that from 25 yards. I don't be very happy hitting that.
Well, again, it'd be great if you could put, a player from the 60s and the 70s into the modern game with all the technology that you've got, all the fitness, all the diets, etc., etc., etc. Oh, my, it'd be like a...
I'll tell you what annoys John Follow me. I sit with John at games and all that. I speak to him a lot on the phone as well, and we talk. And we sort of say that players are fitter nowadays, but they're not.
No chance.
The game stop and start now.
Yeah.
They stop so much, so long. I mean, a free kick now takes a minute and a half to take it.
Yeah, it does. I mean, I don't think they do the pre-season like you guys used to do. I mean, pre-season
no.
Hell, wasn't it?
2 or 3 people in the team I played in be as fit as any of these nowadays. I can tell you that.
100%.
Without a doubt.
100%.
Without a doubt. I
mean, Hudson would say at Chelsea pre-season, he said, I know what it's like for a female to give birth.
Yeah, that's what I'd agree with him there.
Yeah, that's what happened.
Because I'd be well at the back for all that, I'll tell you. I was never near the front for that.
Did you have mad things
I always tell... Pardon?
Did you have mad things? Because if Chelsea, if they'd come in on a Monday morning and they'd be talking about what they've been doing on the weekend, David smell the breath. He'd get them in the wagon. He'd take them down to Epsom Downs, and they'd be running around the race course.
Epsom Downs, I remember running around there with Crystal Palace.
Oh, you did? Oh, they did that as well.
Oh, I did that as well. Yeah, we did that. That was Malcolm took us out there.
Did he do that often?
I run round Tottenham Corner.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, I went round there.
Oh, good grief.
That was the only thing I didn't look forward to, was the first 3 days of pre-season training.
Yeah.
Because I knew what we were going to do.
Yeah.
3 6-mile runs, Wednesday, Thursday and Friday.
Done. Some brilliant memories there. Can I thank you so much for your time, sir?
No problem. I enjoyed it.
Absolute pleasure. And good luck with the shop. And
thank you.
Have you got a Facebook page for the shop? Do you do social media?
No, we don't. No, don't bother with that. We've got a website, but we don't use it. It's just there because people kept asking me if we sold football kits, so we put on we put a website on it, so they don't have to keep asking us.
Don, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so
Lovely.
much, sir. And thanks for the memories, and thanks for what you gave us in the beautiful game.
Very enjoyable. Thank you.
Thanks, Don. Really appreciate it. Thank you.
Cheers, then.
Bye now. Bye.
Every day, our world gets a little more connected, but a little further apart. But then, there are moments that remind us to be more human.
Thank you for calling Amica Insurance.
Hey, I was just in an accident.
Don't worry, we'll get you taken care of.
At Amica, we understand that looking out for each other isn't new or groundbreaking. It's human. Amica, empathy is our best policy.